Today's video is a long one and a controversial one, but it's one I think that needs to be covered, so please make yourself comfortable. And unlike my usual studio-based videos, I'm experimenting with how I'm filming and portraying this one, so bear with me. Okay. It's long been held that Tesla is the Apple of the automotive world. Its CEO Elon Musk is in many ways like the late Steve Jobs of Apple, and that means that just like Apple, there are a lot of people out there who are complete and utter Tesla fans. But just as Apple has its fans and critics, so too does Tesla. In the Apple world, Apple's critics have generally either complained that Apple products are too expensive for the hardware they offer, or they've complained that they lack the user-serviceable parts inside essential for continued hardware upgrade path. In the electric car world, Tesla's critics generally come in one of two forms. Auto industry execs and hardened petrol heads who simply don't believe that an electric car can compete with an internal combustion engine one, and Wall Street investors eager to bet against Tesla in the age-old practice of shorting stocks. In both worlds, there's absolutely no love lost between fans and critics, and often there's an invisible battle line drawn, a gross oversimplification of many nuanced positions which lead to a horribly binary world of thinking where one side believes that someone is either with them or against them. For those of us who consider ourselves moderates in either or both arguments, hey, I use Apple products, but I don't think Apple is the best thing since sliced bread, as I've had my fair share of issues with the company and its products, it might seem fun to sit back and chuckle about the insane lengths either side go to prove themselves right. Free entertainment, if you will. But underneath all of this seemingly benign bantering, there is something more sinister going on. Worse still, it has the potential to cause a problem with a wider electric car world, not just Tesla. I am, of course, talking about the lengths that some Wall Street investors seem to be going to in order to ensure that they can successfully short Tesla stock, amplifying negative news stories in a massive, frenzied attack on Tesla at best, and spreading disinformation and discontent about the brand at worst. Others, eager to see Tesla stock fall due to investments in other competing companies or technologies, do the same thing, leading to some pretty questionable online analysis and what we've come to call FUD in the online world. That stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. On the flip side, we've got Tesla supporters. Most are sane, objective people. I know some of you watch this channel, so hi, who understand at least something of what's going on in the financial world. But then there's a small and much more vocal minority of uber fanboys who will spare no trick to hound those who suggest Tesla isn't doing well or isn't an awesome car company. Those fanboys, many of whom I should note don't even own a Tesla or a car, will descend on anyone who dares to even question Tesla or even imply that Tesla has made a mistake or has something that it needs to work on. And they protest vociferously about the person or company in question, be it Consumer Reports, an established newspaper, or an online blog or vlog like this one. And now, the fans and the shorts are clashing hard. Last weekend, Dan Neil, formerly of the LA Times Auto Week and Car and Driver, and currently of the Wall Street Journal, deleted his Twitter account after his short first drive review of the Tesla Model 3 performance drew criticism from both Tesla fanboys and Tesla shorts alike, presumably because he had both positive and negative things to say about Tesla's latest car. It was, if you'll excuse the pun, nothing short of a car crash. Accusations flew from both sides. Neil was accused of owning Tesla stock and trying to manipulate its prices for his own ends. Other people accused him of deliberately declining an invite to test drive the Jaguar I-Pace just so that he could make the Tesla Model 3 look even better. On the flip side, he drew criticism for criticizing the Model 3's massive A-pillar and positioning of the car's 15-inch touchscreen display. He also criticized Tesla's Fremont production facility, calling it a dimly lit, vertically integrated madhouse. And a Kobe beef of lean production. The vultures descended, and after 2 whole days of discussion with those critics, Dan pulled the plug on his Twitter account. I can't say I blame him, and while I've not always agreed with his take on vehicles, I have always respected him for his skill reporting reasonably fairly on the automotive world. Midweek, we saw another example of online hounding. This time it was the doxing of someone accused of acting to negatively influence Tesla stock. If you don't know what that is, it's the practice of searching for and then publishing private or identifying information about an individual online, usually with the intent of causing as much malicious harm as possible. An online contributor to the investment site Seeking Alpha, the gentleman in question, the subject of the doxing, who went by the pseudonym of Montana Skeptic, has been a long-time bear on Tesla stock and has always written negatively about it and, say some, trolled anyone who had anything positive to say about the company. That wasn't particularly nice. But determined to take him down, Tesla fans doxed him hard, and this led to Tesla CEO Elon Musk calling Skeptic's boss, threatening him with legal action if he continued to write about the company. It was a mess. Allegations have flown about saying that Skeptic worked for an investment firm whose primary focus was the fossil fuel industry, but all I've been able to dig up is the fact that he's associated with a charity organization in New York, and Jalopnik said that it's found a connection with a company which has invested in a couple of oil-related projects, but whose principal business hasn't got anything to do with the oil world. My point? Well, while both sides here are definitely at fault, those seeking to oust Skeptic are actually using the same kind of tactics that he's used to validate their own arguments. Sadly, this has even included an electric car news site or two, some of which have become increasingly blind and one-sided in certain stories, and whose behaviours of late suggest that their own personal goals and fanboyism come before journalistic integrity. For those of us left, the majority of us, who live in the middle, it's becoming tiring and, frankly, frustrating. I know plenty of Tesla owners, plenty of Tesla fans, and plenty of Tesla investors. They are, for the most part, reasonable people who haven't lost sight of the end goal for the company, which is to transition people away from fossil fuels and onto cleaner, greener energy. They're willing to admit where Tesla has messed up and where it shines. They will intelligently and proactively engage with reports they don't agree with using facts rather than conjecture to argue their point. They don't dox. They don't call names, and they don't shut off the competition. Like the war currently waging in the US White House between the administration and what it terms fake news, hyperbole and emotion is being used to drain the energy of those who do not share the opinion of the vocal, heavily opposing minorities. As one newscaster recently put it, it's all designed to confuse and emotionally drain those observing it so that they become desensitized and, in effect, numb to it all. Then they're too tired to ask questions, too tired to rely on common sense and good judgment, and then those with the loudest voices tell them what they should think. In the case of Tesla fans versus Tesla shorts, the ongoing expanding battle is reaching fever pitch and it's drawing more and more people in. I'm getting involved and it's a tiring, emotionally draining experience, even when I don't want to be, and especially when I'm trying my hardest to be as impartial as I can be. In the ideal world, we should be able to criticize companies for doing things badly and then praise them for doing things well in equal measure, not adhere to some impossible binary state that those at either end of this argument would prefer we stick to. There are some companies in the automotive world I can do that with, criticize and praise, and I respect them for that. Tesla, sadly, isn't such a company. Say good things, you get attacked. Say bad things, you get attacked. You get death threats, you get doxed, you get called names, you get your personal information spread large and wide. You get accused of being paid by Tesla or big oil or having stocks or trying to get some kind of kickback from someone else. And you get silent phone calls. The list goes on, and I've had all of them. I'd love to say that the attacks don't make a difference, but honestly, they frustrate me. They make me not want to cover Tesla because of the blowback I'll get. And every single time I have to take time out to deal with this kind of crap, I'm taking time away from doing what I wanted to do with this site and channel. Give you all the tools you need to make an informed choice about your transportation choices moving forward. I don't care if it's Tesla or Nissan or Chevy. The choice is about the choice that's right for you. And if that happens to be an electric car, well, that's peachy, because I personally believe that electric cars are the best choice for the majority of you. But I couldn't give a flying rat's bottom whose badge is on the front of the car you pick. I'm about 2/3 of my way through the Tesla Model 3 review. It's behind me, and I'll save you the wait. I say good things about it, I say bad things about it, I liked the car, I didn't like some of the things about it. That doesn't make me a Tesla hater or a Tesla shill or a Tesla fangirl. It makes me someone trying to do her job by explaining her own impressions of the car. Some Tesla bears will watch this and they will call me names. Some Tesla fanboys will watch this and they will call me names too. But for the majority of you watching this, do yourself a favour. Use your own brain, your own skills and values and common sense to not get swept up in this hype. Ask your own questions, evaluate with your own set of values, because more likely than not, both polarised sides of this argument aren't telling you the whole story, everything that you really need to know.